Joel Grant from Toxic Holocaust. You're listening to Phantasm Podcast.
All right, this is Corey Gorkreis, Dr. Vincent West, Phantasm Podcast. We are here with Joel Grind of Toxic Holocaust. Just got off a killer set. We got Godor on. How's the tour been, man?
It's been amazing. Touring with Venom is, dream come true. It's one of my biggest influences. And
definitely, yeah.
We've toured with Godor before, and when I saw those guys were on the tour as well, it was a no-brainer to do this,
Right. Hell yeah, man. If you want to talk about the history of Toxic Holocaust. Relocating. This is cool. It's a little grungier in here, a little darker. It's cool.
Start again that way.
Yeah, so the history of Toxic Holocaust, we'll start from the top if you don't care.
Yeah. Well, that's a very long history, almost 20 years. Started in 1999, started as a full band.
Right.
This is like kind of the short rundown of it, but basically started as a full band. The lineup kind of fizzled out. They wanted to go in a different direction than I did.
Right.
I continued doing it. I did it as a solo project because of where I grew up. I grew up where there wasn't a lot of people into metal.
In Oregon, right?
I grew up in Maryland, actually.
Wow,
so,
really?
Yeah, so I grew up in like the countryside in Maryland, so wasn't really many, and it was before I could drive, so I was like, wasn't going to like Baltimore to meet people or Philly, stuff like that. So basically, like I did that. I started doing it as a solo project. Basically, it's it started getting noticed, and then signed to Relapse. Did a couple records on there, and here we are today. So kind of the brief rundown, but
talk about working with Ed Ripka, because that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
As a thrash fan, as a death metal fan, period,
Yeah.
Rest in peace,
It was
Death Records, awesome.
I mean, to be honest with you, at the time that I got him, I was doing the record solo.
Right.
I funded it out of pocket, wasn't on a label.
Right.
But I always wanted to Ed Ripka thing.
Sure.
I grew up with like Megadeth posters on my wall, all that shit. So at the time, he wasn't even doing metal records. He wasn't doing any record covers at the time. I was the first record cover that he did since those like early '90s stuff, because he was actually working with Hellraiser action figures, which was really cool. He was painting Hellraiser action figure boxes.
It's nasty.
And I was like, what have you been up to? What records have you been working on? He's like, I haven't done a record cover in years. This was like 2004. The record that it was on was in 2005, but I got the artwork a year before I even did the record, because I was like, I got to get Ed Ripka artwork or something.
Right. It's beautiful too.
I love that cover. It's so
good shit. So he was pretty easy to work with. Did you give him
really
a
easy
concept, or did he just kind of?
I gave him a concept and he ran with it, and it was exactly
Very vibrant. All his covers are very vibrant. Just
absolutely.
Colors are kick fucking ass. Talk about working with Jack Adina.
That was amazing. Jack is like a guy that it was kind of a friend of a friend in a way.
Yeah.
When I first moved to the West Coast, I moved to Seattle before I moved to Oregon.
Sure.
So he was a friend of a friend, and it kind of made sense for him to do it, because he just did that High and Fire record at the time, and I really liked the way that one sounded.
Sure.
And of course, he did like Nirvana Bleach, which that record always sounded amazing. Like, regardless if people like grunge or not, that record holds up. It sounds really fucking good.
He did I love the Nebula stuff.
Yeah. So it was cool working with him. He was amazing to work with. He wasn't super expensive. He worked within the budget of what I had at the time, and it was cool. Yeah.
And then Conjure Command, you actually had a full lineup for that.
Yes. Yeah. That was kind of a funny thing. It was a weird process to like switch over into like a different, and people talked more. It's funny with that record. People talked more about the logo change than about the music. So that was always funny. Like people cared more about that than the music. So
people like the little.
That's today's day and age in music right now.
The split that you did, the Toxic Waste, I thought that was brilliant. Who came up with that?
It's funny. The first time I ever met Municipal Waste was in a show in like Gainesville, I think, or like Tallahassee or something like that. It was just random. Like my parents live in Florida, so
okay, cool.
it was one of those things where I was up visiting, down visiting my mom, and like I went up to go see that show and met those guys, and then I met them again in Boston, and we decided we talked about how perfect would it be if we did a split, because we were the only two bands really doing that kind of early
crossover.
Yeah, coming back with the thrash metal stuff. I mean, this was like 2006 or something. We talked about it, and so many years later, we finally did it because we were both so busy, and so it finally worked out. And we're actually talking about doing another one, actually.
Really?
So, yeah.
Toxic Waste too.
Yeah, well, we're gonna
call it Return to Toxic Waste.
Call it Municipal Holocaust.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, we love bring them to we bring them hell. That song is awesome. Good Halloween playlist thing to add in. It's sick attitude. The lyrics are bad shit. It's awesome. We had Matt Olivo, and I wanted to talk to you about. We love the Repulsion.
Cool.
One of my favorites.
That was amazing to work on.
How did that come about? Did Matt contact you?
He did. He contacted me. I don't know if it's because we toured with Exhumed before and like Matt Harvey connection and all that stuff, but we did play a show with Repulsion before, and that was amazing. So, I mean, I've always been a Repulsion fan. I did a Repulsion cover on the bonus track of Contra Command. So it's like one of those things. I don't know if that's why or what, but it just kind of worked out. It was dream come true.
Thank you. It's fucking sick. It's like the best. It's funny, and I don't know if you noticed this when we were editing it, but when I interviewed Matt Olivo, I didn't get the best thing he said. When we first started recording, I go, man, this thing is like a chunk of just nasty. And he goes, you can try to do old school, but if you're not actually old, you can't pull this shit off.
True.
Yeah, and I was like, but you did it, man. I love it. It's seriously one of mine. It's going to be one of my top 10.
Man, I tried to do it justice because of the legacy of that and everything, and I wanted to make it like more raw than what is like the standard for like grindcore nowadays, because grindcore in a way is very polished, but also bring it to like a more not updated sound, but more like competing with the volume of like the new, like all this new shit is super loud, so it's like kind of like trying to like walk that line of like
it's loud,
not make it like demo level quality, but also make it like still raw as fuck.
You nailed it. I mean, it really is.
Thank you.
And when he told me you're involved, and I was like, when this came about before we get here, I was like, I've got to talk to him about that, because
they killed it. They knocked it out of the park with the music.
Oh yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, just have stuff on that too. And Chemistry of Consciousness. Let's talk about recording God City with Kurt and everything.
It's funny. I recorded that at home actually, and it was mixed by Kurt. Yeah. So that was cool because he doesn't normally take on jobs that he doesn't record, which makes sense. I mean, he's got a ton of great gear, and the studio's amazing. But we toured with Converge before that, so he knew me, and like I was in close contact with him for what he wanted, to see for like recording, like wise, what he wanted, things that would not make him upset to try to mix, And
this time around with the full band, did it feel more broken and comfortable this time around? Or?
It did. It felt pretty. It just felt like normal, quote unquote normal, It was cool.
And then New Toxic Holocaust, last I heard, you were working on new stuff.
Yeah.
You got an update
on it. It's probably going to come out in February, I'm hoping. I'm mixing it in December, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to mix this one just because I just want a different sound. And it's like,
sounds great if it sounds anything like that.
The thing is, like, with Kurt, he's like so fucking good.
Yeah.
But it's like hard to like. So I have to do something totally different than that because I could never top his stuff because he's so good. And I'm just gonna go. It's kind of in a different direction, but I was so happy with the last one. Like it was the record I've been trying to make for years. So it's fantastic. The only way to do another record is to do something different. Still make it sound like Toxic, but
got Acid Fuzz Out of the Fire. I mean, you got killer shit on that record.
Thank you.
It's good stuff for sure. And then, are you a horror fan?
I am.
That's the other half of our blood and butter on the podcast. So talk about your favorite horror films, some of the first ones you saw.
Favorite horror film was probably Phantasm, but
that's why we named our podcast. We had Reggie on
Phantasm. Oh, cool.
We finally
Phantasm and the soundtrack of Phantasm is one of my favorite soundtracks. So it's like that whole seamless mishmash of like the music and
there's like ghoulish like noises in there.
It's so cool. It's like, and it's like they don't fully tell you what is going on. Like a lot of horror movies are so dumbed down in a way that they have to tell you every thing about the story. Like Phantasm leaves it up to your imagination, which I think is so cool.
It's beautiful, yeah.
That one's one of the, definitely my favorite for sure. But another one that I really like, it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of shitty looking back on it, but I really love it because it's kind of what got me into like the more evil metal stuff. Is the movie The Gate.
Love it,
because
man.
The Gate is when I was a kid, I saw The Gate. And I was like, he opens up a fucking gate to hell in his backyard, spinning records backwards. I'm like, this metal rules. I'm like, I'm like a fucking certified
It's like a
metalhead,
cheesy, almost kids film, but it's not. It's like totally batshit.
It's this like weird like mishmash of like, like kind of kiddie, and then also like this like evil. Like,
you can relate to it.
Yeah, it's really
like
cool.
A mischievous,
And the Venom backflash.
Oh yeah,
that's cool as fuck.
We did Marco from Our Penance. We paired him with that movie. So usually we'll do the interviews and then we'll find a good horror movie to pair you
That
with.
Blu-ray player, that Blu-ray they put out of that is.
I haven't seen it.
That's strong.
Yeah, they
bonus stuff.
Oh yeah, it's
cool.
fucking sick.
I can check it out.
If you've seen Matilda, I didn't notice this before. When I was watching Matilda, if you've seen that, and her brother in one of the scenes is wearing a fucking Napalm Death shirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like I think it's a Harmony Corruption shirt, and I was like, dude, yes. At least the director, somebody was like, put this kid in a fucking Napalm shirt.
I love picking that kind of stuff out in movies. Like,
just really.
Trick or Treat too is another one. Where, he's just going through all the records, and like his fucking posters on his walls, like so much cool shit. Like
the
Wasp.
fact that you know what that is. I'm glad we had you. That's my favorite.
I love that. I love that.
I bought is it German? I bought a German Blu-ray.
Awesome.
You got to switch the stuff.
Trigger Schweine.
The soundtrack's great. Gene Simmons is
Fast Way.
in it. Yeah,
Fast Way.
Sammy Kerr. For years, this is hilarious. I would tell people that was my name. Sammy Kerr. What's your name?
Sammy Kerr. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
When you pop up on Xbox, it was like Sammy Kerr.
Sammy Kerr looked cool as shit too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fucking awesome. Such a good movie.
Yeah.
What was the first horror movie you saw? Do you remember the first movie that you liked?
The first one that actually really, I probably saw ones when I was younger. Well, maybe not when I was younger, but the first one I remember that scared the shit out of me was Pet Sematary because my mom took me to see it in the theater. I'm 36, so I was 5 years old or something like that when that came out. I was 5 years old, saw it in the theater. I was like having nightmares about Zelda and shit like that. I'm like, but that's what I loved about, like horror movies. Like now, in a way, it's funny. Kids are more desensitized to shit where they don't get scared with horror movies. But when I was a kid, I was like terrified, and I love that part about it. That's why I love it.
Scares me still to this day. That
Cemetery is creepy as fuck. It is cool.
Is it the second one with the mom going fucking insane? Bananas. Yeah, that one's crazy too. It doesn't top the first one, but a lot of the Stephen King stuff is just really good. And the TV stuff.
Oh, sure.
Like the original, it's great. I haven't seen the new one apparently.
The new one is. I haven't
seen it yet.
It's CGI on.
That's what a lot of people have been saying. It's like if you like CGI, then you'll love it. I'm like,
they're trying to put the clown thing back out there, but people are just afraid of like real clowns. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of. You just be a demon and make them fucked up looking.
Yeah, say fuck it.
Don't need to do the whole clown part about it. It's like make them a giant spider, whatever the fuck you're gonna do.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because plenty of people are afraid of spiders too. Sorry guys. Do you like gore and shit like that? What's some of the good ones?
Yeah, I mean, I always like the like zombie and like all that kind of stuff, like the Italian stuff. I love that. Yeah, I love the Fulci and like the fucking just like Dario Argento and all that stuff too. I mean,
check out that Suspiria coming out.
Yeah,
finally,
it's cool. Actually, when I get back, I'm gonna go see. It's a crazy month for like the more horror movie soundtrack kind of stuff. Live.
Yeah. Like, you're gonna go see the Goblin thing?
Goblin and Fabio Frizzi is
Fabio's doing the Beyond. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Both of them coming to Portland, and I'll be home for it. So
that's
I'm
amazing.
That's cool.
I'm going to San Francisco to see Carpenter.
Oh, cool.
I
saw him in Portland last time, and it was.
How was that?
Primo.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was
Did you
amazing.
get to meet him?
Didn't get to meet him.
See,
I didn't do the VIP package.
I got to tell you this. We had Jeremy from Broken Hope on, and he's about as bad shit about Carpenter resigning. Well, he met him, and he was like, "Man, don't," because like it was really disappointing.
Oh yeah.
Like, apparently he's just like crusty.
Well, I mean, there's a famous saying about like don't meet like your heroes or people that you are like fans of their band.
That's one that I've always
because it's like they kind of can
50-50.
Sometimes it can be amazing and sometimes it can be really fucking disappointing. So
I go to a lot of conventions. I've had only so far a couple people be an ass. Like Tom Savini I met. He was great one time. The second time, I thought he was going to throw a fucking drink on me for no reason. So I was like,
Steve Dash did.
I was the part 2 Jason called Potato Sack Jason. you know, I was, you know, I go to conventions for press just like I do the shows. You know, I want to have a good time, party, whatever. But when I went to him and I was like, hey, you know, let's set up something or whatever, and he was like, yeah, just ask me in about an hour, come back. So I came back and he was like, you know, there's really nothing you could ask me that I haven't already been asked. So he was like, why don't you fuck off?
No way.
Like, true New Yorker right there. Which like, I'm from New York, I get it, but I was like, brr.
We had Kane Hodder on, and that, man, he fucking loved it.
Cool.
He had a blast, you know, and, you know, he's like Jason.
And he's like terrifying looking.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
He really chokes you when you take pictures and shit. He's a big dude.
You know, the Carpenter thing, the only reason that I want to meet, you know, it's like they're all dropping off Craven and Uber.
See, I met Romero a couple years ago.
Fucking everybody's done. It's like, I want to, but like
and those people aren't really getting... Same with the music industry. Like those legends aren't really getting replenished. Like, there needs to be more people like taking those spots. It's kind of like, they're like dying, and now it's like, what's going to happen now, you know? It's like, I mean, I'm sure there is everything. You just got to dig.
It's different when you grew up back another generation and you're seeing the new stuff, and it's like, well, I got these guys.
Yeah.
Once they're done, it's like, then I'll just keep listening to their shit.
Exactly.
That's pretty much how it is.
That's the problem with getting old, I guess.
Yes.
You get fucking old and crusty, just like John Carpenter.
Right.
Or so I hear.
I still get a picture with him. I don't care. I won't even say a word. Just be like, cool, man. Cool.
I'd love to meet him, but I just want to be disappointed.
You have a favorite Carpenter film?
Well, I always like to Escape from New York, even though it's not really a horror movie. But it's like that's probably my favorite one.
That's his favorite too.
They Live too, man. They Live is amazing.
That movie is so ahead of its time.
Yeah,
it's middle finger and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like prophetic in a way, where it's like all the stuff that it was in there is like starting to come true. It's pretty cool. Actually. I mean, kind of terrifying too. But I guess it's a horror movie in that respect.
Right.
It's more realistic.
You fan of the trauma stuff too?
Yeah, some of it.
I mean, the toxic shit, you know, you kind of get.
I like Nukem High a lot.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
That shit.
That's my favorite one. A lot of them are too much.
Yeah.
Like
Nukem High and Toxic Avenger are cool.
That first Toxic Avenger movie's fun.
Yeah, it's great.
And Sergeant Kabuki Man's
That's
to watch.
It's a good one. It's like just.
And Redneck Zombies is good.
I never saw that one.
It's funny. And it's just, if you like any of that trauma stuff, you know, some of it I just can't handle it. But it's almost
Surf
like
Nazis Must Die was always
that's
cool.
great. It's old school.
I guess that's not really a trauma. I guess
old
they
school.
bought that one to distribute it, but it's a great one.
You kind of need that in the catalog.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you very much. This has been an honor.
Yeah, thank you, man. This is really cool.
You know,
It's Joel Graham from Toxic Holocaust. You're listening to Phantasm Podcast.
fuck yeah, man.
Awesome.